Hi guys, Kirk and family here with Kirk Giordano plastering. Today what I'm going to do is something I hate doing, tearing off a little bit of stucco. Why are we tearing off some stucco? Well, these folks had a window that so-called leaked. They took off all the sheetrock inside, and I guess there's a quarter size that actually shows somewhat of moisture penetrating, but as far as I'm concerned, I didn't see hardly anything. The inspector who looked at it didn't see much. But why are we tearing so much off now? Because somebody came out here and from the inside they cut all the paper off that originally was here. I'm going to show you guys that because it's kind of foolish, but I've done stupider things in the past. Therefore, we've got to tear all the stucco off. I'm looking at the original craft paper that they had. Excellent condition. The original paper I'll show you on the inside. It's still in my opinion excellent condition. So because the fella removed all the paper from the inside, well, he has forced our hand now where the paper dictates what we have to do. Say right here, he cut all the paper off. So we're breaking this out now. And as we break out, guys, even with using skill, intelligence, and pneumatic tools that'll break it out intelligently, it's still going to destroy the paper now. If we were using hammers, that would just totally disrupt it because we're using skill and good tools which break it out as gently as possible, but still, you break out as gently as possible, you are going to destroy the paper under there. So what we're doing, guys, is we're taking, there are 4 studs here, and then there's 3 studs here. Because the fella who looked at this destroyed the paper on the inside. And when I say destroyed it, he took a utility knife and just cut it out. Why? That's a mistake. So we're going to take it to this stud right here. And as we take it to this stud, we'll have at least 3 inches to find some good paper. And when you're doing stud houses like I used to when I was union, man, when we lath this, would be one guy on one side, one guy on the other, and you pull it. But back in about 1980, they started shear walling everything. So if you folks have your stucco down to the foundation, it's normal. Will the house crack a little bit more? Possibly. Well, let's go inside. Let me show you, before I lose my train of thought, the insides. All right, guys, I generally don't go inside a house and show inside stuff, but because of this odd predicament, I'm going to show you this. Okay, the stucco paper, here's the original stuff. Excellent condition. Of course, we beat it up, tearing it off here. Now, why do we got to tear the whole wall off? Before I get sidetracked outside, I wanted to point this out. Okay, you see this paper right here? This paper, we just hammer drilled through it, but the paper is in excellent condition. Surprises me. It's in beautiful condition. But what a fella did was he took a utility knife and he cut it right here and he cut it right here to expose. I don't know why he did it, but he should not have done it. Technically, this should be 3 to 6 inches around this window here, and we would have fixed it. But again, over here, he did the same thing. He cut the paper here and cut the paper here, so I had to tell the homeowner, gee whiz, hate to tell you this, but because they cut the paper, now the whole wall, or this whole area, has got to be repapered. And you cannot repaper it from the inside, guys. So that's why we're tearing all this off. Again, it should have just been 6 inches. I don't see no mold or wood rot or any of that stuff here. So the guy just made a mistake, and I made my own in my time. So we're going to go ahead and tear that off. As we do it, we'll show you what we're doing. All right, guys, let me show you a few more things since we're at this stage. Everything is off. Everything looks real good here. I guess sometimes, guys, when you have windows and you slam the shit out of them, the corners can crack. The caulking can fail and water can go in. That's probably what happened here. But we're putting a weep screed on here. A lot of people call me and say, Kirk, can you cut the weep screed off around or can you cut the stucco around the entire perimeter of the house and place a weep screed? I've yet to do that, even though I've been asked about 25, 30 times, and I tell people, guys, if it's before 1975, it's normal. We're going to put a weep screed here because we're already doing all this, but before you put a weep screed, we've got to break out the foundation. A simple way to break out the foundation is you just hit it with the bulldog. See how that pulls away, guys? And as a rule, I don't like to break off, but make an exception on this one because we're putting a weep screed. Now our weep screed is going to go below the mud sill. What's a mud sill? Mud sill sits on the foundation. It's part of the way to put the wood on the structure. And all of this wood is in excellent condition. They thought the sprinklers were causing a moisture issue, but they don't. Everything looks good. So the sprinkler wasn't doing anything. If it was, all of this mud sill and the studs here would be bad. So I guess it was an isolated incident, and I have seen that before with retrofit windows. While I'm on the subject, see this wire? It's, the owner asked me, he said, what's that wire? It's line wire. You put a nail in it, you go wrap around. And I said, why'd they used to do that? In the 50s and 60s, they did this so that they didn't have paperback wire back then. We'll get to that. And this, when you put paper on it, it holds it so that the paper stays firm, or so-called firm. Otherwise, if it goes in the paper, you end up putting 10 times as much stucco as necessary. Last thing while I'm on the topic of retrofit windows. You got your retrofit windows that, say like this house that had like-it windows, single pane, so they pulled those guys out and they put the retrofits in. Now you're relying on caulking around the entire perimeter. Some caulkings like the ones we use last about 30, 40, 50 years, and plus when you cover them with stucco, they last forever. Some caulkings are cheap. They also have another type of window flange which has about a 2-inch flange, and that one you put your caulking behind it and you plant that on, and it seals the window. Hopefully the walls don't leak, and it seals that way. And then the best case are these windows with a flange. I always tell folks, hey, the ones with a flange are your best bet, but if you have a stud house like this, you can compromise the rest of the existing wire. You never know what you're getting into, so it's one of these issues. When the window manufacturer comes out and sells these, they'll say, dude, they'll give all this information, and then a homeowner has to say, gee whiz, what do I want to do? What kind of window do I want to put on? So no matter which one it is, we improvise with it. Anyway, we're getting ready to apply a weep screed on here, a drip or weep screed, same thing. It goes on the mud sill and protects it. It hangs down here, but if I'm going to protect it, I got it for cosmetic reasons. I got to tear all this crap off too. Then we're going to put paper. After we 2-ply paper it, I'm going to use a paper back wire. Unlike this lime wire, we're going to pull all this crap out of here because lime wire is outdated. I have paper back wire, which when pulled tight enough, we won't lose so much stucco on here. Okay guys, we're cooking in the sun, so we're going to make this fast. I want to finish what I'm showing you. We're putting a weep screed or a drip screed. It goes on the mud sill. The mud sill's here, it protects it. So that's there. 2 layers of paper, plus I'm using this paperback lath that 30 years ago. That's all we used because they didn't have shear wall. It was all studs, so we'd stretch the shit out of that so much cement didn't go in between. Here's a tip, guys. Mark your craft paper so you know where your studs are. Some guys will hit it with the hammer tacker to mark it. Some guys will hit it with a crayon. Me, I could feel it. When I start stapling this in, it has the wires, so just follow that all the way down. It's a pretty simple thing to do, guys. Remember, we're going under both of these flashings. That way, inspector sees it, he says, hey, these guys are on the ball. Anyway, we're going to take it. When we're finally done with everything, we'll show you what it looks like. All right, guys, we are complete. Notice a couple things. Between the studs, this is in the field. That's almost like it has solid wood backing. If you know what you're doing, you do it right, we won't lose a lot of stucco there. I do it right because I'm the fellow who's got to come back and do the stucco work. Here's a big tip, guys. Polyurethane caulkings. The polyurethane caulkings that I'm using, it's an adhesive caulking. It's one of the best in the business. Heck, I even put bricks together with this for my neighbor 20 years ago, and they're still on. I've tiled with it. I've done a lot with it. But say, for example, our paper's under this paper, so there is no need to caulk the bottom. We have a Z flashing on top of the window. There is no need, nor doesn't serve any purpose. However, on the sides here, I've used already, I've used 5 tubes already for this little bitty project. This is why it failed in the first place. Don't skimp with the caulking. Say this joint right here. Okay, what we're doing today is one of the hardest things in lathing industry. It's tying into stud walls because there are so many, well, it's just studs. You can't get a good grip. So it's real important to go with a good caulking. And right here, if I caulk this, will I lose my key? That's where the stucco embeds. Yes, I will, but I'm not concerned about that. I'm going to use a strong stucco when I come back, so I'm probably not going to get a hairline crack here, but I'd rather have a hairline crack than a leak. And then we just caulk this. Anyhow, guys, those are the main things about what we're doing. The caulking, very, very important because you don't want it to leak. I mean, that's what failed the first time, and so we want to make sure it's done right this time. Let's see, did I miss anything? We got the screeds, we got all that. Oh yeah, maintenance, guys. When you have a house that has retrofit windows, no matter what kind, if they just fit in the frames like these did, or if they go over the frame with a flange, make certain the fellows doing it, installing the windows, are using a quality polyurethane caulking, and it is kind of your responsibility to maintain the wall. That means every 7 to 10 years, use a good elastomeric type quality paint. Otherwise it deteriorates. It's like us. We eat wrong, we deteriorate. Thank you for watching, folks. And as usual, we'll see you guys on the next one. Once again, folks, we thank you for watching, and I really enjoy all your comments.
If you guys like this video, please click the like button down below. And also, if you enjoy what we do, subscribe to our channel so we can keep making these videos for you.
My name is Kirk.
And Jay.
We thank you for watching, and from the entire Giordano family, we'll see you on the next one.